Not every argument is worth your energy. Some debates don't sharpen your mind. They drain your peace. And one of the fastest ways to lose clarity, dignity, and focus is trying to win a battle with someone who never came to understand. They didn't come for truth. They didn't come for growth. They came for reaction. And the moment you engage, you're already losing. If you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling frustrated, angry, or mentally exhausted, take a moment to like this video, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Not because this will stop people from provoking you, but because it will help you stop giving them access to your peace. Now let's talk honestly. Not all arguments are about logic. Most people assume arguments are about facts. They're not. Many arguments are about ego, insecurity, control, attention, emotional release. That's why logic often fails. You can bring evidence, you can explain calmly, you can speak clearly, and still nothing changes. Because when someone is emotionally committed to misunderstanding you, clarity becomes irrelevant. When someone lacks self-awareness, your calm feels threatening. Your clarity feels offensive. Your restraint feels arrogant. Your boundaries feel like rejection. So they provoke, they interrupt, they twist words, they raise their voice, they mock, not because they're confident, but because chaos is the only space where they feel equal. And the moment you match their energy, you step into their territory. Arguing with the wrong people has a cost. Every unnecessary argument costs you something. Focus, emotional energy, time, peace, self-respect. You may think, I'll just explain one more time. I'll prove my point. I won't let them disrespect me. But what actually happens? You walk away tense. They walk away unchanged, and nothing improved. That's not strength. That's leakage. The difference between discussion and debate. A healthy discussion has two goals: understanding and growth. A pointless argument has one: winning. If someone isn't open to learning, there is no discussion, only noise. And wisdom is knowing the difference early. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't owe everyone your energy. You don't owe everyone a response. Why smart people stay quiet. Silence is often misunderstood. People think staying quiet means you're weak. You agree? You have nothing to say. But in reality, silence often means you see the trap, you value peace over pride. You refuse to wrestle with nonsense. Silence is not surrender. It's discernment. When you stop engaging with pointless arguments, something interesting happens. Your stress drops, your focus returns, your confidence increases. Your life feels lighter, not because you won, but because you didn't lose yourself. Non-engagement is not avoidance, it's self-control. Here's something most people don't realize. Some people feed on reaction. When you don't argue back, they feel invisible. When you don't explain yourself, they feel powerless. When you remain calm, they feel exposed. So they escalate. And that's when you know you made the right choice by stepping away. Not every voice deserves your attention. Not every opinion deserves a reply. Not every challenge deserves engagement. Wisdom is not loud, it's selective. How to recognize people who argue in bad faith. The moment you should step back. There's a clear difference between someone who wants clarity and someone who wants conflict. People who argue in bad faith reveal themselves quickly. They interrupt instead of listening, change the subject when challenged, twist your words, attack your tone instead of your point, focus on winning instead of understanding. Once you notice this pattern, continuing the conversation stops being productive. At that point, you're not communicating, you're feeding dysfunction. Why they never admit they're wrong. Admitting they're wrong would require self-awareness, accountability, emotional maturity. And many people don't have that skill yet. So instead of reflecting, they defend. Instead of listening, they attack. Instead of learning, they escalate. Not because you're wrong, but because accepting truth would threaten the version of themselves they're protecting. And that's not your responsibility to fix. Some arguments aren't about the topic at all. They're about feeling superior, feeling heard, feeling powerful, feeling relevant. That's why facts don't land. You're speaking logic. They're responding emotionally. And logic cannot win inside an emotional battlefield. The moment you realize this, you stop trying to convince and start choosing peace over performance. When speaking up is necessary, this is important. Silence is powerful, but it doesn't mean passivity. You should speak up when your boundaries are being violated. False information could harm others. Silence would compromise your values. But even then, your goal isn't to win. It's to state your truth clearly. Then disengage. Say what needs to be said. Say it once. Say it calmly. Then step away. No repeating. No defending endlessly. No chasing validation. The art of controlled response. Here's a skill few people master. Responding without reacting. It looks like calm tone. Short statements. No emotional explanation. No personal attacks. You don't raise your voice. You don't justify yourself. You don't match their energy. Because matching chaos doesn't make you strong. It makes you reachable. And not everyone deserves access to you. Why walking away is actually confidence. Weakness argues endlessly. Confidence decides quickly. When you walk away from pointless conflict, you're saying, I trust my judgment. I don't need approval. I protect my mental space. That's not avoidance. That's self-respect. And self-respect always angers people who benefit from your reactions. The cost of trying to be understood by everyone. One of the biggest traps smart people fall into is this: trying to be understood by people who never tried to understand themselves. You don't need universal agreement. You need inner alignment. Not everyone will get you. Not everyone will like you. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts. And that's okay. Once you stop arguing with people who thrive on chaos, something shifts. Your mind gets quieter. Your reactions slow down. Your decisions become sharper. There comes a moment in life when you realize something important. Not every reaction deserves a response. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Not every person deserves your attention. This realization doesn't come from arrogance. It comes from experience. Experience teaches you that peace is expensive, and foolish arguments are always trying to steal it. Why silence feels uncomfortable at first. Silence feels hard because you were trained to explain yourself. You were taught that defending equals strength. You were conditioned to respond immediately. So when you choose silence, your ego panics. It whispers, what if they think I lost? What if they misunderstand me? What if I look weak? But here's the truth. Silence doesn't mean you lost. Silence means you opted out of nonsense. And opting out is a power move. Emotional detachment is not coldness. Detachment isn't about being heartless. It's about being selective. You still care. You just don't carry what isn't yours. You stop absorbing other people's moods, their projections, their unresolved anger. You let them have their emotions without making them your responsibility. That's emotional maturity. How to stay calm when someone provokes you. Here's what actually works. 1, pause before speaking. A pause interrupts emotional hijacking. Even 2 seconds changes everything. 2, lower your tone. People expect escalation. Calm disarms manipulation. 3, shorten your responses. Long explanations invite more chaos. 4, know when to exit. If respect disappears, conversation is over. No announcement needed, just distance. Why idiots drag you down every time. This is the uncomfortable truth. Arguing with someone who lacks self-awareness forces you to operate at their level. They don't rise to meet your logic. You descend to match their chaos. And once you're down there, clarity disappears. That's why walking away isn't surrender. It's self-preservation. Real intelligence is restraint. Anyone can react. Anyone can shout. Anyone can insult. But restraint, that takes mastery. The strongest people you know choose their battles carefully. Protect their mental space. Speak less, but mean more. Don't argue to prove worth. They understand something others don't. Peace is not passive. Peace is earned through discipline. The moment you stop engaging, everything changes. When you stop feeding pointless arguments, manipulators lose interest. Chaos starves. Respect becomes clearer. Your energy returns to you. People quickly learn what they can and cannot get from you. And those who relied on provoking you, they fade. Never argue with idiots. Not because you're better, but because your time, clarity, and peace are valuable. You don't owe everyone your voice. You don't owe everyone an explanation. You don't owe chaos your calm. Choose silence. Choose clarity. Choose yourself. If this message resonated with you, like this video to support the message. Subscribe for more wisdom that protects your peace. Comment, "I choose peace," if you're done arguing with chaos. Turn on notifications so you don't miss what's next. Stay sharp, stay calm, and stay above nonsense.